I'm Councilmember Jose Huizar, Chair of the Planning, Land Use and Management Committee. Land use, did I say that? Yeah, I did that. I'm joined by Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo. We could start the item number 1. If please read that into the record, please.
Sure, Councilman. Item 1 is a motion Buscaino Alarcon. It's instructing the Planning Department to file an application to include the original Wiener Schnitzel restaurant in Wilmington as a historic cultural monument. And Mr. Bernstein is present.
Okay, and I understand. Okay, staff here on this?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Ken Bernstein with Department of City Planning and Office of Historic Resources. This is a council-initiated historic cultural monument application. So upon the council's action, the Cultural Heritage Commission and our staff will follow up, prepare a nomination to bring to the commission, have considered by the commission, and then bring that back to council for the original Der Wiener Schnitzel restaurant in Wilmington. We have begun collecting materials. Just since I know you have a light agenda today, this is actually a historic photo of the original Wiener Schnitzel restaurant back when it opened in 1961, and we'll be following up on the nomination upon the council's action.
All right. So we just have to refer this to staff. Okay, thank you. That'll be the action of this committee.
Yes. And
next items, please.
The next item, council member, is a CEQA appeal relative to a project in CD4, and I believe there's a request to continue it.
Okay, let's continue that item
to August the 20th, as denoted on the agenda. And then item 3, councilman, is again a CEQA appeal associated with the adjoining or the abutting home, also in CD4, and there's a request to continue it also to August 20th.
Okay, that'll be the action of this committee.
And item 4, council members, is Mr. Legrand's weekly report.
Mr. Legrand.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Mike Legrand for the record. I've passed out the council members' briefing books on the Department of City Planning's work program for the future, as well as current work programs, items going on in your districts, as well as some policy initiatives and major projects that are taking place citywide for your staff's reference and your reference. A few other items. We've been having some really good discussions with the state agency ABC related to our conditional use permit process and many loopholes that exist in that process when an applicant goes through the city's permission to serve alcoholic beverages and then they go to ABC. There tends to be many of our conditions don't get recorded as covenants as required by the conditions, and then licenses are granted even out without the proper city oversight. So we've been working closely with ABC to make sure that we close that loop. And we have staff there to also make sure the businesses understand these regulations to comply with, how to get through, make sure we're not adding more red tape, but we're also providing that certainty to the neighborhoods that these conditions do mean something. So we've been happy to work with ABC and their district director on this program and look forward to some good things for downtown and citywide. That concludes my report for today.
Okay. Well, thank you. And any questions, comments? No. That concludes item number 4. We'll go to public comment.
Yes, sir.
We have one public comment speaker card, Barry Johnson.
Good afternoon, Barry Johnson, Studio City. I'm here just to speak about murals in R1 neighborhoods. All of our communities in Los Angeles have their own unique character. That's part of the charm of Los Angeles. Studio City's character is one that doesn't happen to include murals. Yet we have people that have put their heart and soul and life savings into homes that they have lived in for 40, 50, even 60 years in some cases. And they've come to expect over those years a certain character to their neighborhood. Allowing murals into neighborhoods that don't have them would create a vastly different character from what has been in certain neighborhoods for decades. Regarding the opt-in and opt-out options, I totally hope you will press for the opt-in option, because if it's an opt-out, a community like Studio City, by the time we get opted out, we're going to have murals, because the opting out process, and I know we're going to get a report from planning on this, but I'm just afraid it's going to take a year or two. Having done an RFA in our community that took a couple years, it's just not going to happen overnight. And in the meantime, our community is going to be vulnerable to murals being done in an area where there aren't any. So I hope you will push for that option. And, the artists who want to paint murals can still paint in every other zone until they opt in. It's only the R1s, and as soon as they opt in the neighborhoods that want it, they can then paint there as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I believe that concludes our meeting. No other items on the agenda. I was going to say that this was the fastest plum meeting ever, but I think if my memory calls correctly, the second fastest. There was one faster before this. Okay. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.